Alright, today I'm going to show you how to make my most effective minnow fly. I've not seen anybody yet do this yet on YouTube that looks like this. So what I'll be using today is 210 denier red flat wax nylon floss, just a little bit of crystal flash, about 3 pieces of red saddle hackle, dumbbell eyes, and head cement. That's about it. Alright, I'm using a big dry fly hook today. It doesn't really matter the size of the hook. Depending on your minnow condition, you might want to switch it up to smaller ones or bigger ones. It doesn't really matter. Alright, there we go. Now this fly has proved itself time and time again to work when most other things aren't working. Actually, the first time I used it, I was trout fishing, and I threw everything in my box at these trout, and they just weren't biting. So then I threw this thing on there and started ripping it through the water as fast as I could, and then all of a sudden I was 4 trout in the hole. So it is very, very effective. Alright, I usually take 2 to 3 saddle hackles and tie them in down here, because I think it just gives it that look like it's the back of the minnow. Because when this thing swims through the water, it does swim upside down because of the dumbbells. I take a pretty generous amount of this crystal flash here. It's that it's not really the pearl color, but it does have a lot of pink and green in it. I'm going to tie this up here, right about where I'm going to put my eyes at. But not only does this thing work for trout, it does work for bass and bluegills and crappie and all sorts of lake fish. They all seem to like it pretty good. Alright, tying my crystal flash. Sorry if the video is slow, kinda always has been. I really don't know what's wrong with my webcam, so if anybody out there does know the technical things around this, it'd be great if you could let me know. Alright, then I make my wraps around the body. This also helps push this crystal flash right to the back. Go. I actually make a wrap around the flash there, cinch it all together, and I pull it back to give it the placement I want to stay in there. Alright, then I do something a little bit different. I actually whip finish back here. Oops, sorry about that. So I can reverse and come back right around onto my original wraps. It helps them stand out a little bit better and makes them a little bit thicker. Alright, there we go. Now, grab my dumbbell eyes. And these ones I'm using are 5/32. You can use smaller ones. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, this is a pretty general fly. Its size all depends on what you want it to be for your conditions and how the minnows look in your lake or stream, river. Just make it look as local as possible for the best results. Alright, once I've done a couple figure eights, what I've found is to wrap a pretty generous amount of the string behind the head, or behind the dumbbell eyes, sorry, and that seems to hold it in place. After you do that, a couple more cross wraps, figure eights, and then after that, what I like to do is just get it right up there, whip finish by the head. Been getting in the habit of doing this twice. I believe it does hold a little bit better. It's my whip finish tool, made out of a Bic pen and a piece of coat hanger. Works great. It's nice for tying bigger flies, pike flies and whatnot. Then at this point, I like to take it and trim up the crystal flash just a little bit. Down to about that length. Usually leave the flash and the saddle hackle hanging out just a little bit longer than the overall hook itself. And then, a little bit different, is I like to slather the whole body in head cement. Really helps it stay together. Off of one of them, I'd say I hooked up on at least 20 trout and quite a few bass and bluegills, of course. If they're big enough, they will hit these. And that's that. That is my most effective minnow fly. So rate it, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you guys do use this, let me know how good it works for you. But like I said, it works great for me.